Alright, what is up YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys because it is time for, of course, my favorite set of winged beasts, the Harpies. And I updated my Harpie deck, of course, due to dual overload to new inclusions. The big, setup for some more into Apex in them, and really enjoying this variation. This is going to be a variation that you probably have not, you've looked at a lot of other variations similar to it, but for the most part, it's more so of how I like to enjoy playing Harpies than just whatever you see online. So, without further ado, guys, let's take a look at my variation of Harpies. So, we'll start off with my monster lineup, and it consists of course, 3 copies of the beautiful Harpie Channeler. Then 3 copies of Harpie Perfumer, 3 copies of Harpie Harpist. Then 3 copies of Harpie Lady 1, 1 copy of Harpie Oracle, 1 copy of Harpie Dancer, 1 copy of Harpie Queen, and 1 copy of Harpie Lady Sisters. Then for the last of the monsters, I'm running 1 copy of Miss Valley Apex Avian and Miss Valley Thunderbird. So that is it for the monsters. That's a total of 18. Now we're going to move on to the spells. So my spell lineup is 3 copies of Hysteric Sign, followed by 3 copies of Elegant Egotist. Then I'm running 2 copies of Harpie's Hunting Ground, 2 copies of Alluring Mirror Split, 1 copy of Harpie's Featherest, 1 copy of Double or Nothing, 1 copy of Monster Reborn, and 3 copies of Call by the Grave. So that is it for the spells. Then we move on to the trap cards in a simple set of Harpie's Featherstorm and Hysteric Party. So that is it for the main deck. That's a total of 40. For the extra, I'm running 2 copies of the beautiful Harpie Conductor, 1 copy of Great Fly, 1 copy of Union Carrier, 1 copy of Samorg, Bird of Sovereignty, and 1 copy of Barrel Sword Dragon. So that is my big lineup for my Link monsters. For my Exceeds, I'm running 1 copy of Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon, 1 copy of Lightning Chidori, 1 copy of Castell, 1 copy of Ice Beast Zero Fine, 1 copy of Zodiac Dryden, 1 copy of Utopia Double, 1 copy of Utopia, 1 copy of Utopia Ray, and 1 copy of Utopia the Lightning. So that is pretty much it for the extra. Alright, so let's talk about the main deck itself. So, for my Harpie lineup, it's pretty much triples of Harpie Channeler, Harpie Perfumer, Harpie Harpist, and Harpie Lady 1. So, Harpie Channeler is pretty much the key component to the Harpie deck. You discard any Harpie card from your hand, it says summon 1 Harpie monster from your deck. If you control Dragon-type monsters, her level will change from 4 to 7. So, the thing about it is, I didn't want to run any of the dragons, and that's probably what most people are running. The thing is, if the extra deck wasn't limited, I'd probably run them, but I don't have a feel or a need to want to run monsters or the dragons, just because Tempest is a wild card. I'll say that, because you have to banish to summon Tempest. Tempest is this card, kind of only works if you have something in the deck to target, and you don't want Dragon in your hand. Dragon, on the other hand, can be an easy summon. It really doesn't have much else to it. That's also its own downside, is that it's the only Harpie monster with an effect that just gives a generic effect. There's no other amplifications to it. There's no defense to it. It's just a giant monster. And for the most part, even though Harpies have a good setup for rank 7 because of Chandler and Dragon, I just said, no, I'd rather go for the rank 4 because it's just an easier setup. You have so much more, you have many more options than you would for 7. And then at that point, most of the Link monsters I was planning on running anyway, or am running, don't require tokens. So I just went in for what was the easiest scenario, and that's pretty much what I have here. For Harpie Channeler, with all the rank 4s here, it's just an easy go-to. And then I can, bounce Egotist off of her to summon Harpie Lady 1 or Harpie Lady Sisters. Then we have Perfumer. She searches for those spells and traps with Harpie Lady Sisters in this text from your deck to your hand. The bright side to this is that I am still running Harpie Lady Sisters. You can opt in for Dragon if you want the additional support. But for the most part, with Harpie Perfumer, she's the one that you're going to be using to search for a heavy bulk of your spells, especially the ones that Hysteric Sign can't search for. Harpie Harpers can search for practically either Channeler or Perfumer, so those are your big go-tos. Your only opt are with Dancer and Oracle if you can get into those plays for your following turn. She's a good discard for Channeler. She's a good discard for Hysteric Sign. Hysteric Party. Because on the end phase, she's sent to graveyard. She's in graveyard because she was sent that turn. Bam! You can search for your other Harpie pieces, either to set up for your next turn or your rebuttal plays. Now, Harpie Lady 1 is a triple set. I want the additional attack power. I don't mind Cyber Harpie Lady. But I figured I'm running all these elegant egotists, why not run enough targets? And the crazy thing is I see doubles and triples of elegant egotists, and I only see one Harpie Lady. Harpie Lady 1, and I'm only seeing double. Not even Harpie Lady Sisters, which at that point, you're running technically 4 targets for the one spell that you have multiple ways of searching. For an archetype that swarms, and for people who want it to swarm so much, you would like to at least have multiple targets for the swarm. And that's primarily why I dumped in for the 3 Harpie Lady 1s in the 1 Harpie Lady Sisters. In the additional attack power they give to all my wind monsters. So if worst case scenario, I can go into basic beatdown and then just beat my opponent down with my Harpie Ladies, and then just win from there if that's ever the option. So, alright, I talked about the bulk. Then let's talk about the one-ofs. We have 1 copy each of Harpie Oracle, Dancer, Queen, and Harpie Lady Sisters. So, I dropped my double Queen and double Oracle because I wanted to fit in, of course, the new additions, which were the Mist Valleys, which I'll get into shortly. The other thing about this is that, if you run the double Queen, double Oracle, it's not bad. It's just one of those things of you kind of don't really want to run into these as much. When you do run into them, they're just here to set up for other cards and to get a lot of your combo pieces that extended play. There was talk of Garuda, the Wind Spirit, but that also came into a point of why I didn't want to run Tempest, was because I'm not banishing Harpies to summon monsters for just extended plays when the archetype has enough extended plays on its own. And I did not want to opt into rolling so many multiples of specific cards because that's the kind of cards, if you run into bulks of them, you don't know what you're going to do with them. Especially if you can't set up for them. So, that's why there's no Garuda, there's definitely no Shifty, or Sylphie. And then at that point, Oracle, Queen, and Dancer can do their own individual abilities. While Queen can discard herself for Hunting Ground, Oracle can retrieve if Hunting Ground gets destroyed by its own effect or by your opponents. And then Perfumer can search for Hunting Ground as well. So that leads into that option. Dancer is pretty much here as a one-of because you don't really need multiple Dancers. It's even gotten to a point some people question, do they really need to run Dancer, because of the fact that Dancer's really big effect is a hard once per turn. So if you have multiple Dancers, you're locked into her effect for one turn. Now the bright side to it is you can bounce back Channeler, you can bounce back Perfumer, and then put them back onto the board. That allows you to search or activate their effects again. That allows Hunting Ground to pop multiple back row if needed, and in that way you can fluctuate them dodging cards like Effect Mailer, or dealing with Ash Boss, some type of setup. Dealing with some nasty hand traps. Now let's talk about the big behemoths. Big behemoths, who I have no user first. The big ladies themselves, the Harpie Lady Sisters. Now, although most people don't run Harpie Lady Sisters because they feel it's the quote brick, that's kind of the same thing with Dragon. Now, the only optimal thing about Sisters, and that's why I'm still running Sisters, is because it's an elegant egotist target. It's a card extender. And it's one of the most optimal extenders because most of the newer monsters, Oracle and Perfumer, have additional effects and conditions on their level 5 or higher Harpie monsters. And since Harpie Lady Sisters is kind of easier to bring out than Dragon, because you can use cards to extend into Harpie Lady Sisters, you have ways to put her on the field. Now, if you don't want to run Sisters, yeah, you can swap out for Dragon. If Dragon is optimal for your build, because Dragon still is a 7, it still is a Harpie monster. You can bring it out with Channeler easier than you can bring out Sisters with Channeler. You still need Egotist to bring out sisters. But both monsters can abrupt to a lot of the newer spells and traps. So there is still Oct there. But you don't want to run multiple sisters because you definitely don't want to draw into them. And if you draw into them, you do have some forms of recovery to get them back into their deck or to put them onto the field. So, alright, I've talked enough about these. And now let's talk about the next two monsters. And now that's Miss Valley Apex Avian and Miss Valley Thunderbird. So this is pretty much just to go into the Thunderbird lockdown. You summon Samorg. You have Union Carriers hatch Thunderbird to Samorg. Then Samorg will summon Avian. Then Avian will activate its effect to bounce out Thunderbird to negate effects. That is pretty much the big odds. There's a lot of various decks that can do this. Not just Harpies, but Pendulum. There's like various of the Black Wings with Raid Raptors that can go into this. Some more can definitely go into this. It's a lot of things that you can easily get off of these. I wouldn't be surprised if both of these monsters got hit, just because of how amazing this combination is. It does take a lot of setup to get it out, but once you get it out, it's a great defense against a lot of things. So, alright, that is Miss Valley Apex Avian and Miss Valley Thunderbird. Now we move on to the spells. And of course, it is time for both Hysteric Sign and Elegant Egotist. So Elegant Egotist, we'll start off there. I have Harpie Lady 1, and I have Harpie Lady Sisters as the targets for this card. This is the extender that the Harpie archetype has. It has no restrictions to it. You just need a Harpie Lady on the field. Queen, Chandler, Dancer, Oracle, Perfumer, Conductor, Harpist. They're all Harpie Lady while they're on the field or in the graveyard. So, Elegant Egotist gets the Harpie Lady Sisters. You can get into multiple of these by searching them with Harpie Harpist, retrieving them with Oracle, or activating Hysteric Sign. Bam! You have that set up right there. Now let's talk about Hysteric Sign. If you're not using this effect to search for Elegant Egotist, you're sending it to the graveyard with your own card effects or your opponent's card effects, whether it's from the hand or from the field. For the exchange of that, 3 Harpie cards with different names added from your deck to your hand. We have spells, we have traps that can easily be searched by this card's effect, as well as the monsters. This card is amazing when it came out. This card is still amazing because it keeps Harpies with a lot of the big combo plays. It just sucks that you're locked behind its once per turn effect. If it was worded just like Alluring Mirror Split's worded, where you can use each of its effects in the same turn, this card would be bested. Like, there was a really big, broad effect attached to Hysteric Sign. So it's a lot that can easily amplify Harpie's play and Harpie's setup without restricting itself. But Hysteric Sign is that good of a card, it had to be restricted because of what it can easily do. And then these are must-haves. If you don't want to run triple Egotist, that's fine. And just run the 2 of. But at least have the target set up for your Egotist summons. Alright. So I've watched to both of these. And now let's talk about the rest of them. I have Harpie's Hunting Ground and Alluring Mirror Split. So Harpie's Hunting Ground, destroy all, when Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady Sisters, is on their no more special summon, destroy a cell or trap on the field. Because there really isn't much back row being played for the last couple of formats, you've barely only seen 2 of these. And at least with that in mind, Oracle can retrieve them on her effect. But for the most part, it does shock your opponent into what cards they run. However, you'll end up eventually blowing up your own spells and trap cards. So in addition to Hysteric Sign, you have Alluring Mirror Split. And its ability to such summon a Harpie monster from the graveyard to the field when it's destroyed by your Harpie card effect, Hunting Ground, or your opponent's card effect. Then the bright side to that is, even though this doesn't give you much attack power, it does make Harpie Lady and Harpie Lady Sisters of the summon spell and trap card removal, which has been great for them in that case, because this is really one of many of the best field spells in the game, because of what it does for its archetype and how much of an extent it can give to its archetype because of all the extensions that the archetype has. Speaking of extensions, let's talk about Alluring Mirror Split. Now, as much as we don't really like the battle effect, the secondary effect helps out tremendously because you get more extensions. Popping this card to such a summon a Harpie monster from your graveyard to the field. Giving you extents for links and exceed summons. It can get you back more monsters for attack power, or play for defense, or play on the defensive offensive setup. This is really good off your card. Now, if the destroy by battle effect also said destroyed by battle and or card effect, literally you'd have even more of a plus off of Alluring Mirror Split. And it gives Harpies even more additional setup for a lot of the cards that we play. So, and the only reason why I'm running two of each is because you don't want to clog into most of these anyway. You just want them to be set up or retrieval. Alright, so I moved on from Alluring Mirror Split, Harpie's Feather Rest, just some at least draw power. Probably one of my favorite setup of draw cards in the game. Kind of reminds me of Yang's in Path. Now the only restrictions to this is that if you want the additional, if you want the 2 draw instead of 1, you gotta have a level 5 or higher Harpie monster on the field. You can easily access that if you control the Dragonwood Channeler, Harpie Lady Sisters, or Harpie's Pet. And hopefully when she comes to TCG, Harpie Lady Scratch Slash, because she's a level 5 or higher Harpie monster. Now in addition to that, the drawing card off of this by sending back Harpie Lady and our Harpie Lady Sisters into your deck helps as well, because that refreshes Channeler, Perfumer, and Harpist, who are your big key components. And then it can also bring back cards like Dancer and Oracle if needed, or your Harpie Ladies, in case you need some more Elegant Egotist setup. So, and the one of is just because you don't want to run multiples of these. This is honestly just a fair enough one. Then for the rest of the spells, of course, Monster Reborn, Call by the Grave, and Double or Nothing. So I'm running the Double or Nothing to help with the Utopia package. Monster Reborn, just another extender. And Call by the Grave is to help with hand traps, or some nasty monster effects triggering in the graveyard. Alright, so we move on from the spells, and there's only 2 tracks in the deck, Harpie's Featherstorm and Hysteric Party. Big plays off of Hysteric Party because it brings back every Harpie Lady in the graveyard back to the field. Link plays, Exceed plays, and the old-fashioned classic beatdown. Harpie's Featherstorm negates your opponent's monster effects for the turn. You can easily activate this on your opponent's turn while you control a Harpie monster. You still need a Winged Beast, but that's perfectly fine because that's practically 95% of the archetype. The only downside is we can't get the Harpie's Harpie Feather Duster off of this, because here in the TCG it's still banned. But hopefully one day, sometime in the future, we'll get Feather Duster back to the TCG and can easily utilize this card in all of its effects. And it's a great card too, because it was the first Harpie trap card to have Harpie in its name, and then you can have it searched out with Hysteric Sign. So let's move on from them, and then let's go on to the extra deck. The extra deck itself is just another play off of the main deck with a lot of its key components as well. We have Harpie Conductor, who of course is very good for its offensive defensive. Now it wasn't exactly what we wanted in the extra deck monster for Harpies when it came to Link monster, but she does survive a lot of good combos because she can send cards like Hysteric Sign or Alluring Mirror Split to the graveyard with her effect to protect your Harpie monsters from being destroyed by battle or card effect. Then you trigger their abilities. She's Harpie Lady while she's on the field in the graveyard, so flip Hysteric Party, there you go. And you have extensions with Elegant Egotist because she's Harpie Lady while she's on the field or in the graveyard. Now, there is a ratio if you want to run. You can run 1, you can run 2, you can run 3. Whichever build of your deck supports it. I got the 1 Great Fly just for additional 500 attack and defense if it's ever needed. I am running, of course, the Union Carrier, which helps get into Samorg, so where I can get off the plays for Miss Jolly Apex Avion and Thunderbird. Now with Samorg, you can get any Winged Beast from your deck to the field, depending on the number of spell and trap card zones that are available on the field. You'll special summon a Winged Beast whose level is equal to those total number of faces, or less. Where you can get any of your Harpie monsters, except for Sisters. You can summon Apex Avian and be fine. You can have them sit under Avian because nothing will affect them while Avian is some more while they're targeting them. So put Avian under it, Conductor under it, bam, they're protected. Then you have Barrel Sword, who's just here to opt for that nice link for summon. Okay, I've gotten away with them. Now let's go on to the Exceed monsters. You have a Faithful Servant, 3 Harpies under this guy. Swing directly, protects them from being targeted by battle or card effect. Great addition to the extra deck. Not as fast as we'd like it to be in terms of the summon, but it can get a job done exponentially. We have removal in the forms of Lightning Chidori and Castel. You can easily set up Castel with Chidori if you can get into some plays there. Detach from Castel, force the card to be set, summon Chidori, send it to the bottom of the deck. You can easily get rid of those cards as well, detaching for Chidori's effect or Castel to send them to the deck as face-up cards to the deck. And then on top of that, Castel can extend Harpie's Featherstorm because it's a winged beast. Sadly, Chidori isn't, but it is wind, so it gains additional attack from Harpie Lady 1. We have Ice Beast Zero Fine who comes in as a nice skill drain to negate monster effects. Face up card effects your opponent controls, and then be a giant beat stick for 2 turns. For at least two turns. Then we have Zodiac Dryden. I just threw this in here honestly so it can pop stuff. You can keep Tornado Dragon if you choose to, but Dryden was back, so I decided to drop in Dryden and see how that goes. And then of course the Utopia package, because in case All Out fails, just take your rank 4 setup and then extend it to the furthest place you possibly can. Because once you get done with that Utopia double combo, if it didn't OTK and drop the Utopia Ray, go into the Lightning, and you have another giant beat stick that your opponent has to worry about as well. So that is pretty much it. I went over all the bases for you guys, and I really did enjoy, playing this deck. I still enjoy playing this deck no matter what. And I've had a lot of fun constructing it. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I will definitely catch you guys next time. HPJ signing out. Take care.